Sareko!
We're back.
We're back.
Amazingly, Cooper has transformed himself into a chair. Oh, and he transformed himself back. Welcome back. That's really impressive, Cooper, how you kind of like became a chair and then became a human again. It's really nice.
Thanks. It took a lot of practice.
Yeah. Smooth transition, folks. All right.
Flawless.
Waffles.
I'm here. All right.
Oh, I didn't say anything, but I forgot. Real quick. It was my birthday on Saturday. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I turned
That's what we
29,
call
but
it.
this is session 30. So
30.
this is
So
unfortunate.
you're too young to be
burned
here.
it.
Get out of here.
Too young.
Yeah, get out of here, kid.
Farso, get out of here.
Barso, she could be your mother, okay? Show some respect.
You're only 9 years older.
That's true. All right.
Decade. Okay. Yep.
All right.
Less
we got
than.
Dr. Lynn medicine checks. Because Dr. Lynn was drawing people's blood, wants to know if people are losing their memories and or dying, like what's happening because you're in this bubble. And then I think y'all are going to talk to Dole.
I think we were going to spend another day in the library just for fun.
Yeah, I wanted to read up on like around here.
It's a vacation, right? Y'all are just going to chill. Like, just
Yeah.
literally not do anything and sleep for 3 days.
We were going to order Uber Eats and just chat.
It was just like oil and like nuts and bolts.
For some reason, Uber Eats never got there. You see it just going around in a very large circle and the GPS.
I have found the circumference of this place. I have hacked it.
Just it's around the exterior of the bubble, and it's just like
Hey man, I can't find your address. There's just a void.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, you just gotta go
Alright.
through it.
Yeah, just gotta,
Alright,
and then we
show up.
like use it for research, and we're like, okay, how does it get through the freaking bubble? If anybody can
Dr.
do it,
Lynn.
please.
Made it.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
there's
sorry,
some sort of mystic.
All right.
No, Amazon. That's what we got to do.
Carrick.
Sorry.
Dr. Lynn, give me a medicine check and tell me what you want to know.
Natural 20.
Wait, which order should I do these things in? Medicine check first or?
No, you should tell me what you want to know first.
Okay.
Tell me the reason for the check first, or you can't make it.
Yeah, I want to know if there seems to be any like degenerative or like ill effect from the, presumably from the giant like soul barrier on us. I
Sure.
don't know if like cells are dying at an abnormal rate or Eisen just seems really stupid today.
Soul
But a
crushing
24
feeling.
doesn't hurt.
24, not the worst medicine check in the world. You spend some time on it while you are like preparing for your long rest. I'd give it about a solid hour looking over everybody, because you know everybody in here is a little bit different. You don't sense anything that is off from the prior blood samples that you've taken to like be able to shoot them with your auto tracker crazy thing.
Yeah, about that, Dr. Lynn, that's really like an invasion of my privacy. I don't know that I like checked off you as my primary care. Did I?
Well, I'm not licensed, so I don't have to go through that hullabaloo.
It's true, yeah.
true.
I gave him my schematics, so
Oh, baby.
Okay, so
I highlighted the best injection points.
Oh,
Please
also,
use them and not the others.
Are we worrying about like food at this point, Mr. GM?
Yes,
sir?
constantly.
I mean, y'all are probably worrying about. You can tell me if your character's worrying about it or not, but you will likely wake up with a tummy growl. I mean, let's be with a tummy growl.
hungry.
Wow.
Let's be real. I don't think there's any mechanics for starvation. I'm like 99% sure. I'm not even.
There
Gonna
has
look it up.
got to be.
There
There's
has
definitely
got
rules for
to be.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
I think it's
I'll-
just common sense.
Alright.
I imagine it's common sense rules.
I think
We
we
can't
can
die.
definitely always defer to Waffles, but I kind of want to call out Waffles Nerd Corner just to find out. Can I?
Sure.
Waffles Nerd Corner, go! Do.
What?
Wait, is the Jeopardy song?
Dude.
No
Problem.
idea. Dude.
Probably.
very possibly.
Dude.
All right, can somebody do the Jeopardy theme just slightly off?
Ba-doo-doo.
Oh, what?
Waffles, you have to be looking things up here. Get out of here.
I'm looking.
We're doing Waffles Dirt Corner, which is
I found him.
Oh,
Yep,
Oh.
there is one. I found him as well. A character can go without water for 1 day plus a number of hours equal to the Constitution score. After this time, blah blah blah. Okay, that's water. A character can go without eating food for 3 days. After this time, the character must succeed a Constitution check of 10 plus 1 per previous check. So, like if you made 3 checks, then it's a 10 plus 3 each day, or take 1d6 non-lethal damage. So it would take a long time for y'all to die, to be honest.
I'm good for ages.
Cool.
We can just space out our
that
rations by
does-
like every 3 days.
Yeah.
Wait, you say rations?
Yeah, he has like 2 rations, so he can eat like.
Yeah, so Dr.
On
Lin.
day.
I have 2 rations.
I was just gonna say.
Dr. Lin.
You guys do not. I'm just saying.
So let's break it down real quick. First, non-lethal damage is going straight to your hit points.
Okay.
Second, you can offset that with healing and stuff. Even a long rest itself is going to heal you like your level times 2 or something. It's going to be very hard.
I assume they have
Not
water
e-
here because machines need water. Many of them.
Right.
Right.
Not even magic restores the health lost by not eating.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, you get your health reduced by that much.
Gotcha. Okay.
It looks like the bigger thing is the character is taking any damage, is fatigued as well.
Well,
Yeah, it cannot be recovered until the character gets food or water. Okay, that makes sense. Well, it would take most of
A
y'all
while.
a solid like 7 to 10 days.
all right. TLDR, we're okay right now. But
Again,
I'm sure.
call back.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, call back to our very smart decision to go into a portal to question mark and not think survival or emergency like environment provisions.
I actually would like to believe that it just goes to show like the world that we live in, or that we're used
Yeah.
to living in. At least for Zeha, like
Sure.
the ship is usually has food in it when we're traveling, which is something that probably Zeha doesn't consider. I'm assuming Tetsu is probably the one who makes sure the ship is stocked or however. And Zeha herself has always been privileged to like, yeah, there's food on the Adari. There's food that she could buy on like Absalom, whatever. She's never thought like that this portal could possibly take her away from something like that. So
I would just
For sure.
like to point out that, our captain really oh, wait. Oh, Zeha. Oh, hey.
yeah, about that. I swear.
But Dr. Lin can relay that information if he so wishes, and then
We're all gonna die.
you guys sleep, wake up. Any conversations that go on when y'all go to bed? You have any important things to share with each other?
I think we would have a private conversation. Is Visco with us, staring at us, or is she like outside the door?
No, she tells you that she will be having a guard stationed outside your door and like basically relieve herself until the morning
Okay.
Is there a security camera?
inside the room.
Yeah.
You don't see one.
Can I make a
Perception check.
computers check to like, or sleight of hand or something to search for anything?
That'd be perception for sure.
Natural
18
3.
perception
12.
check.
Yeah, I would
Can I
also
make an engineering check for hidden cameras?
No, it's still gonna be perception, and the engineering check would be like to get into a place that you knew a hidden camera was, but you gotta find it first.
15.
Can I make a medicine check?
Well,
No.
I have Wasp look instead of me.
You can definitely make one.
It will count
Sweet. I'm going to make a perception check, but I'm going to use my wide spectrum scanner looking for cameras for the increase.
But you're in a narrow room.
Well, aren't you special?
I'm just kidding.
So let's see, it's perception plus 4, so that's 7 total.
I like that he considered it though. Was like, does that impact it?
No, I was just like waiting for the. I was wondering if it was a real ruling or not for half a second.
You
So
can't use the wide
6,
spectrum scanner
yeah.
inside a room.
Yeah, 6 plus 7 is 13 total.
All right. It looks like we got 18s for the highest here. Yeah, you guys give the room a good search over. It seems that there's basically nothing in here. Like you guys have some beds that look to have like all the cushioning and stuff stripped off of them. So they're like metal frames of beds. The floor is metal. There's lights to turn on and off. Other than that, you're for all intents and purposes, you're in a cargo hold, but it's very small in a bedroom.
So there's 0 organic material around?
To what it seems to look like.
In the library, was there organic material books, or was this all sort of like data pad stacks and like...
It's all on data pads and stuff.
Interesting. Dr. Len, I can't help but notice the lack of organic material. Perhaps that's what's being eaten up. That's something that we could perhaps pursue in terms of a line of questioning tomorrow, but perhaps is there any testing that you might be able to do? Moat, perhaps you have some insight into this as well. I do have, a strip of cloth we could just... Thinking of like taking it outside of the suit. I'm assuming we're kind of fully covered in a suit, all of our suits. So maybe if we can like take a piece of organic material, like a cloth, a scarf, or something out. Is there any sort of?
Think
test?
it's gonna get like it might get disintegrated or something and eaten by the ghost forge or wall or whatever.
Perhaps that would give us some insight into what secondary effect the wall is having on the space. Whether that's simply... It might not be immediate, but perhaps you'd notice it slowly disintegrating or being devoured as... The wall devoured, that is what we saw. It ate and used and took anything, magic or otherwise. So perhaps it's doing the same thing slowly over time in the whole space.
Maybe you leave something overnight.
I take out a handkerchief.
Okay. You pull out a handkerchief. Floats in the air like it's normal. It's not disintegrating right now.
Oh wait, no,
They
not
did
that one.
say
That's
they
a good
can't
one.
grow anything. They
You
can't
say-
grow anything or anything, so they probably cannot replenish it. So that is why they have none, and it's been at least 40 years, they say.
Yes, but what would 40 years you'd have an old musty pillow? I don't see why it would be non-existent as nothing's being used. They don't need it. They have no need for it. Why would it disappear?
Because decay, and then they trash it.
Can I make a life science or physical science, whatever it is, to see if that would normally, like cloth, like a t-shirt would last 40 years if not touched?
In the right, environment.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
valid
in
thought,
the wrong
I think. I just
environment.
want to know if we could
Yeah.
know science-wise.
Yeah, I'll say y'all know science-wise enough that in a correct environment, organic material would last, and there would be no real reason for them to get rid of the organic material. You guys have scanned this environment. There's no super toxins in the air. There's just no oxygen or anything.
So it strikes as
that I was about to say. That said, even without, you guys can make a flat intelligence roll if you want, but even without that roll, it strikes as odd. It strikes as something a little weird.
All right. I think it's worth a little mini experiment. So hold on, and I change the handkerchief out to a different one. That one's less good. Use this one.
This one's already
one's
dead.
just
Do you have
dripping.
one that you blew your nose in?
Goodness no, the decoration.
Why don't you take your mask off? You've been breathing in that. You might
Moat. That's a very rude thing to say to a Kasatha.
Is it?
Yes. Why don't you take your mask off?
I mean, I just thought it was a stylistic choice.
She goes a little less on the offensive. No, it's a cultural thing for Kasathas. We don't put our mouths on display.
Why would you have handkerchiefs if you do not use them?
Have you never heard of suits with accented?
He pulls out one.
Yes. I look good in a suit, and you never know when a handkerchief will come in handy.
Wait,
Yes,
Tetsu,
I
do you
use
even
them.
blow your nose?
Yes.
Anyways,
You were designed with
Fleshy parts.
nose.
you have fleshy
Okay.
parts.
Remember,
When-
he started out as a warmonger and then became robotic.
When
That's
I feel like they would have
probably
left
not
out in a
true.
sinus leak. It just seems like
It's
a poor
probably
design
not true.
choice.
Okay.
He only blows his left nostril.
Zeha leans back to Aizen. Fleshy parts. We really have to work on his vocabulary. Perhaps a dictionary would be a good gift. A thesaurus.
When you lean back during this conversation, you realize that Aizen has just increased his light level to just make it obnoxiously bright in the room.
I
in the
turn
hopes
back.
of, like,
Oh, God. All right, yes.
just in an attempt to blind everyone to stop talking about
All
this.
right, Aizen has a pointed point. If you could just please lower my eyes, thank you.
Are you upset that you do not have biological components?
No, I think what he's trying to point out is that we have to get back on track here. Yes, so hold on real quick. Test. Okay. I heard crackling on my end and I wanted to make sure.
I heard it too.
She's losing it.
I'm losing it. That went. Tell me something I don't know. We talked a little bit in the library about what exactly the plan is for after we rest. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, as I've been told that sometimes I make spur of the moment decisions. So I apologize in advance, but I do try and will try to make sure we're on the same page.
Seems pretty straightforward
Cool.
as long as this man isn't an idiot.
All right. So we're just going to go up front and say, this is the only choice left to you to survive as a people.
And when
I
they say
don't-
no,
Yeah, I feel like they might be predisposed.
Well, that's part of what we talked about, I thought. We would go hard with this option, and then if there's nothing else, then we get into the
Then
Ghost
we go
Forge
hard.
ourselves. We have very limited options is the only thing, and I think we have to be as convincing as possible and as united in that convincing as possible. With the Ghost Forge, every time they break their bodies or have to go through the Ghost Forge again into an updated body or anything, they will lose further and further pieces of who they are, as we've already identified with Vizco. These generic memories that she seems to know as factual, but not something that she's experienced herself. You know, she says, yes, grass is green, not grass. I remember I went on a picnic once. You know what I'm saying?
even if they do not need to go into the Ghost Forge, they are still not growing or worse, decaying. So they
Yes.
don't even if they say that we have nothing to fear, therefore we will not die and not need to go in the Ghost Forge, they still suffer.
Yes. And I worry, even if they stay status quo, if they stay the way they are, this people, the Amran, from everything we learned, they existed to travel, to gain new experiences. That was their culture because of the Ghost Forge. The culture became, and you can tell Zeha is talking with a lot of confidence behind the the psychology of like culture and things like that, because you can tell like that's where she has studied. She studied like why people become the way they are. The Ghost Forge kindled that type of culture amongst their people to ensure that new experiences constantly entered their people, so that it wasn't lost when they utilized the Ghost Forge. So if the first convincing fails, perhaps that's another aspect that we can go on to preserve their culture and who they are, and to say, where is the adventuring part of you? Where is the part of you that will take that leap and come with us and go out and see what we can do?
Something
I think
else.
Go ahead, Eisen.
Something else that might be useful. We learned the other day as well that if they're traveling outside of here, if they were to die, they have to come back here to get reborn. So what happens if someone was saved from the swarm because they were away from the planet, and now they're doomed to possibly never be able to rejoin the cycle?
That brings up a very good point. How does does it pull them from far away, or do they have to be here?
Yeah.
It pulls them from far away, but nobody has any idea or has even brought up the question of how does the force field affect it.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
about to say. Perhaps we can ask them, and perhaps we can use that. That's excellent, Eisen. Perhaps there are souls waiting to be reborn that they are cutting out.
Keeping from
Oh God! What if the artificial Ghost Forge that they made with the Amron Corp? Is it Core or Corp? Amron Corp?
At core.
Amra core.
Amron Corp.
Amra core.
It is very difficult to say in an accent. Amron Corp. Perhaps, do you think that it was functioning? Do you think that perhaps souls went there and there's nothing to be reborn into?
If they're lucky, it went well, but that's a very big if.
That is very big.
They did say it was working,
They
but
did.
if we're lucky, then we can use that at least as a reason to go and check.
So
And
we're not
I feel
supposed
like-
to know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring that up.
I say that's our
Well, if
third
we
and
have to
final
go-
resort.
Well, second resort, because third resort is to fight our way into the Ghost Forge and break
Yes,
it.
well, all right.
I think that's our final resort. If we come up with any more resorts, it'll just be added on to the ones beforehand.
I start trying to take
Yeah.
it
What
as
about
the
A,
Disney
Back on top
resorts?
of it.
No, 1.
Disney Resort, we'll be going there once we're done here.
Light
That-
level.
that-
Yay!
Disney?
Fight our way
I wanna
through is
see Mickey.
-1. It's always at the bottom.
Yes,
Just
yes.
light
Whatever it
level.
is, all our plans get shifted down and then it's on the bottom. All right. Well, I think we are in agreement. We can do what we can tomorrow. Meanwhile, and I kind of turn to look at the beds. I don't suppose there's much difference between the bed and the floor.
I'll sleep on the floor. It's fine.
Well. And are you sure, Dr. Len, there was nothing affecting us? This fatigue?
No, I gave it a very good look over. You saw me sitting over there studying the blood samples.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like anything's affecting us immediately.
All right. I give another look to wherever we pinned the handkerchief on the wall somewhere. All right, let's go.
Tetsu reaches into his armor and pulls out his tie and gives it a shake, and it just flops into a pillow, and he lays down to go to sleep.
Okay.
It's a tiny little pink pillow.
I thought we just woke up.
No,
Yeah,
this
is
was
this
this was before.
It was before.
okay?
Okay, this is before. Okay, so now we
Yeah.
zoop to the
Yeah.
future again.
Zoop,
Okay,
zoop.
the morning.
Yeah, we went to the morning, then jumped back to the past, and then jumping back to morning.
I appreciate it because I totally would have wanted the blood checks before we rested.
Yeah. That's what I thought was happening in my brain, never explained. It was before. Y'all go to sleep. Y'all wake up.
All right.
Tetsu has a crick in his neck.
I just snap it off.
Tetsu
It's
is
fine.
dead.
Sure.
All right.
It's too real.
I kind of knock on the door outwards and open it to see if there's a guard on the other side.
Yeah, you go to open it. It's locked, but it is very quickly opened, like from the knock. Like you're like, knock, knock. Go to open it. You realize it's locked. Like you are basically locked into a room, and then it is opened. You assume from your knock, and it's Visco standing there.
I definitely shoot a look back to the crew for it was locked this whole time. But
I
then,
lower my foot.
Good morning, I suppose, Visco. Is Dole around and available?
I can bring you to Dole if you wish. You want to speak as a proper meeting?
Yes, I think it's time we had a secondary heart-to-heart on how we're planning to continue our time here, and it affects everybody, so if there are other important community leaders or otherwise, I think it's pull the whole council together, if you will.
All right, let us go then. And she begins to turn and walk.
Take her
real quick,
hostage.
was and now we enact Plan Z.
She presses the self-destruct button.
Was there?
Got
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. Is there something that I vaguely remember that we asked her to do when we got closer to Dole, like communicate something? I remember something weird like that.
I don't remember, but if you bring it up and then I remember, I'm down.
We
Well-
needed permission to enter the library, but that was
Oh, was that it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Dole, are you in there?
Dole!
You guys are brought to the meeting room. Same deal. Like
I thought
honestly,
I was seducing him.
any room you guys have been into, they all feel like basically the premise of a cargo hold that has been made to like allow robots to live their daily life. Like you got metal sheet flooring, you have metal, like Dole's room is literally like this meeting room that you've been brought into twice now. It's literally just this metal desk in the very center of the room. Yeah, I mean this room's a lot larger than a bedroom, but it is metal to metal to metal, and one metal desk that he has a chair, but he has always been standing behind this desk and looking at y'all.
I would have taken the handkerchief with us, by the way.
Okay, it's still there in the morning. Looks normal. You take it.
Quick question, once everyone kind of gets settled in the room. Does it look like Dole has moved from that spot since we left?
That was my question.
That's valid but hilarious.
I was just about to ask that.
You can give me a perception check.
I will.
I will too, because it's too good.
21.
18.
17, 4 plus 3. Sorry, I misread that die.
7.
7.
Okay. Tetsu, with your 21, you're the most, but everyone else kind of looking at it, you all get the same assumption. You don't know if he's been out of the room, but he's not standing in the same exact spot that he was yesterday. He has shifted like on the desk. Like now he's definitely like a solid 6 inches to a foot to the right of where he was yesterday. Like you can note that. Whether that means
they move
he's
real
walked
slow.
out of the room and come back, you really have no clue. It's not like there's feet print or anything.
I kind of like just turn to whoever's closest to me and just like I'm going to ask about the organic material first, if that's all right. I'm a little curious, and we did forget to mention that. Good morning, Dole.
Hello.
Good morning.
Has the time fared you well since we've last visited?
It has. You as well?
It's been fascinating for sure. I am only asking to both be polite and out of, I'm sure, the curiosity of the many of your people who are outstanding to see, well, us. We are not expected here, so I'm sure you were fielding questions left and right.
Not all have been alerted, but yes, the rumors will spread as they will in a closed city.
Absolutely. We couldn't help but notice, and she kind of looks around the room. You mentioned that plants weren't growing here, and she kind of like pretends she has like a crick in her neck to stretch, and there was a notable lack of pillows or otherwise in the room last night. Has all organic material left since in these last 40 years?
Yes, it has. Much like all of us becoming fatigued, much like the plants dying out, the organic material itself has degraded at a much faster rate.
Fascinating.
He kind of puts his arm out to show you the metal room.
Right. That does... When you say a faster rate, do you know exactly how fast? We worry a little bit for our own bodies.
It all happened a little too quickly to take proper stock of. That said, can equate most things that take days. Most things that take days take hours.
Right. All right. Well, I suppose she looks around like, does anybody have something to say to that?
Creepy, yo.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we best get to our exact purpose for being here. If we may speak honestly, though, we believe that everyone here is at risk. And we need to get you and your people out from under this dome and to safety. And we need to do it soon. How does he react?
And you believe us at risk to what? Because I believe us at risk to the swarm and safe from that risk.
I can pull up whatever data I can that is on any of our data pads from where we came from, though that may not be much. But in terms of the swarm, they have, compared to when they attacked you, been fought and in numbers and quantity far less than when they were a threat to you. The Pact World was created in defense of them, and they have not been bothered by them in recent history. I believe all that's true.
Yep. He stares at you for a second. You believe something that could eradicate planets has itself been dwindled to the purpose of obsolete in 40 years?
I will not say obsolete, but I will say enough to get you and us to safety. But time... Let's take a look at the other hand here. What would you do? Stay here? In this nothingness? Where your memories dwindle? That is not who you are as a people.
You see him just stare at you, and he does not offer a response. You yourself, without a sense motive, you get the sense that you're like hitting on something that he's at least thought of before.
Mm-hmm.
Tets will step forward and go, when was the last time you had fun? What do you do day to day?
We survive until we can ultimately shut down the force field that you've seen and allow our people to fast the universe once again.
Now is the time.
And how long do you think that'll take? I'm sorry. Just
That's a valid question, Matt.
I am unsure.
You cannot look outside your dome, but you have people from outside telling you that they have seen the world. The swarm does not trouble us.
We here are on a clock, on a time limit, more so than you. You could decide to stay. You could decide to do nothing, as you have done for 40 years. Or you could take this, in which case we will die, all of us. Or you could take this as a time and a sign for action. Your people were known across the stars, across the galaxies, to traverse and to gain new experiences, because we know what the Ghost Forge does. We know that it brings your people back, but we know it doesn't come without a cost. And we truly believe that that cost has taken its toll on you already. And it's high time that you continue to experience new experiences, or those that simply wish to. There may be some that wish to stay, but I know that there are some that wish for more. We can achieve that if we get outside of this dome and get transportation and get you all to safety, or whoever wants to go to safety.
Eisen or Dr. Lin, you guys want to add anything?
I do. Eisen would pipe up at this point and say, you acted with haste and with purpose when you built the dome in the first place. It is time for you to act with haste and purpose again, now that we have realized that not only is the dome perhaps keeping something from you, but possibly actively taking something away from you.
Plus, when you acted, you did so knowing there was a risk. You're not against taking risks. This is another choice you need to make that has a risk.
And naturally, the dome is being powered by something, which will dwindle and run out. So I suppose the question is, if you're going to wait for that to happen, or are you going to take the one chance to survive, like Zehai and Eisen thing? And, well, yeah, that's all there is to it. It's now or never, baby.
Baby, what is this baby?
I
Not
just
you.
imagine Dr.
Oh my god, it's
Len's-
been so long for them.
Dr. Len is from the disco ages, I swear to God.
I was about to say, Dr.
Yeah.
Lynch is like Patrick Swayze.
Guys, the Syphozoan,
Austin
like,
Powers.
planet, it's just all, like, 80s disco.
Just
Saturday
bell
Night
bottoms
Fever.
and
Shaved off
everything.
my
Yes.
ass
Bell
years
bottoms,
ago.
everything.
Yeah.
Bell bottoms, oh my god.
Yes.
Like
You heard
a
it here
disco,
first.
like,
That's all they wear.
jumpsuit.
Yeah, white jumpsuits. Yeah.
Look
Mhm.
for it
That's
on
why he's got an 80s detective outfit.
Look for it on Starfinder Infinite. We're gonna make this a thing. Go on.
Okay. Cool. It all sounded good at the end of basically all the arguments. Give me a diplomacy roll. Everybody can aid, and you already have a automatic +1 for each of you. So an automatic +5 prior to the aids.
May I make a bid to use my culture instead, as it is the thing that I have? I feel like it's just perfectly suited for this, where I'm like convincing for the sake of their culture.
Preservation.
Yeah, their people. Utilizing their culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a +0 for a 13.
I rolled a
That's an
3.
8. That's not an 8.
I rolled a natural 20, but it's just an
Oh!
aid, so
11 for a 10.
That's
Wow.
an 8 and that's an 8. So we got 3 aids for a +6, so it's a +11 total.
I rolled a natural frickin' 4 for a total of 17.
That's not bad, though.
Plus
And then
11.
a plus
21.
Yeah, +11 total on top of it.
Oh, nice. 28.
So
28.
28. You want to stick with it?
Do
You got that
you
reroll.
want to stick with it? I can help out here if you really want to convince them.
I think this is the time to shine if we so choose.
you got to roll higher than a 4, surely.
It is
Surely.
Yeah.
our life.
All right, I'll
Surely,
donate one of
I
my
mean-
one of my 2 nuggets, and you can
All right.
convince this dude. Just don't roll a 1.
Now that you say
Don't.
that.
You just put it out there.
Ooh,
Oh!
that was a natural 19 for a total of
Oh my
32,
goodness.
There we go.
which makes it
43?
true total
43.
43. Hot
DC
damn, are we
We own this
convincing?
planet now.
We are your new leaders. Thank you.
DC 35.
Oh,
That could have been bad.
Good
what
call.
a chicky nuggy. What a chicky nuggy.
You see him look up. He's looking to each of you. Responds. And what do you propose this course of action be? You speak of actions that require risk. As the outsiders that want to free a people, what is this action?
At this, Zeha smiles because that's like the exact answer that she wanted. Like that's the end right there. Yes.
We didn't think this far.
To start, we need access to the Ghost Forge that is powering the city so we can understand exactly what it's doing and how we can get out. I will promise that first and foremost, we will see what we can do to exit safely, perhaps as a pod, as a group, whether just us or some of your people as well, the ones that wish to explore an adventure. If that doesn't work, then we will need to take down the entirety of the dome, in which we will go and find the status of the rest of this world, this planet, and we'll start there.
Understood. At all costs, the dome does not come down, and it does not come down without first informing me. You will have many of my people with you. Visco will be within the room. Another 20 will be stationed outside.
Do you happen
We
to
can
have an
take those.
engineer we could have along with us?
Do you know who made the modifications?
Yeah, if only we had an engineer.
At
Oh, a good
this
one, I mean,
point,
sorry.
At this point, he kind of looks to his side at like one of the people that have been standing in the room, and there's always been like 2 or 3 people lined up. Vinsko's usually been one of them. He goes, "Yes, I can send Jish with you. They are who would know the most about the reactor, as you call it."
Can you spell his name for me, Mr. GM?
Yeah, Jish.
J-I-S.
Jish.
His
I have a
teaching method
thought.
is nodding
They-
and shrugging.
I have a thought. These people would make perfect crew for our ship and, like, you know, secondary characters for us. They make amazing red shirts because they can just die. And we don't have to feel bad about it. They're just going to end up back here.
Oh, we don't
That's
have to
true.
feel bad about it? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
sucked
mean,
down
Them
into
up
the
like
void.
pick them up a few
Ted-
days after they die.
yeah, we'll just come back, you know, get some new supplies
Oh
and
my
the
God.
crew again.
Top 2.
Tetsu never has to feel guilty again.
Oh no, the monster's chasing us. We need someone to distract it for a little bit.
Yeah. Send them in when the reactor starts to overload. Perfect.
Tetsu, your monk Butu is showing.
Ready
If
to
they
eradicate
don't die,
entire
it's
races.
fine.
Okay.
That's the whole point.
They feel pain, dude. Probably.
Well,
That's true.
listen. So
Uh,
do I.
That's an experience.
Understood. We will not purposefully do anything without first discussing with you. Is there a signal that we can tune into to simply traverse or to simply connect with you should we need to communicate?
Visco will keep me updated on what is happening.
All right. And then in what we looked up yesterday with the whole Omron core,
Omrakor.
nope, I have an N in here. I wrote it with an N. That's what it's going to be from now on.
An N for no does not belong.
How do you spell it? You spelled it out for us, I'm pretty sure.
I did. It's Amra, like Amra without the N, core, One word.
Amran core. Got it. Oh.
Fired.
All right, fine. I will erase the end. Goodness.
I mean, I don't care. You'll just go to the wrong place.
Yeah, that's on
There
the other
actually
side of
is-
the planet.
Yeah, there is an Amran core. It is not at all the same thing.
It's a grocer and deli, actually. It's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. It's all empty.
I was gonna
now.
say a
Oh,
party
thank
city.
Okay, so from what we looked up, right, with like the whole Amra core, whatever, the company itself or the corporation itself, that's not a secret corporation or anything like that, right? That's
No. The prototype and blueprints were, though, they were secret. This corporation was a machinery type, like computers and machinery type corporation. Some of the delving you did into it, they were like a manufacturing corporation. Like they traded like material goods, like ceramics, metals, that kind of stuff, kind of what the city's built out of. They also like would make upgrades to vehicles if they needed them. They would do like little odd and end job. Like they were basically a manufacturing company that was like very up and coming and willing to take on like side jobs kind of thing.
But this was way
when-
left field for them, right?
The prototype type thing was way left field for them and probably anybody that you like could ever think of. Like, first of all, to know the Ghost Forge, not a big deal. But to know of the Ghost Forge and how it works, exactly what it does, and to be able to create a prototype of it was likely not something anybody thought was possible.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of before we get ready to head out or whatever, Jish, he's there, right? Or they are there?
Yes.
Jish, you say you know the Ghost Forge. Is it? Have you worked on it? Were you the one that made the modifications originally?
I was under Dole's supervision. I did make the modifications.
Amazing. That's from what I understand that the Ghost Forge is a natural phenomenon for your people. So is this? Where'd you get the knowledge? Were you an engineer by trade prior to all of this?
I was someone who worked on coding and codes themselves, usually within programs. I was able to take a look at the program within the Ghost Forge, and admittedly, it is out of my scope, but there was enough in there that I could rewrite. I could not write that code myself, but to edit an existing code is not as hard.
No, that's no easy feat. That's actually quite impressive. And you went off of nothing. You just you said Dole helped you. Dole, do you also have engineer experience?
I do not, but I do have some abilities to be able to read such things as if they were written words on a page that told a story.
Oh, well, I can do something very similar, I believe. You still hold that power?
Yes.
That's wonderful. So that I'm sure would help. But okay. So, and what? Out of curiosity, Dole, what did you do prior to taking on this position?
I was a... You see him like pause for a second. Traveler. I ventured, but never left far.
Sense motive.
Sense motive.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I'm not.
like to see if he's like uncertain.
Right, if that was a fill in the blank of like,
Yeah.
I forgot what I did, and
was
I just,
that a-
you know.
I
Was
eat
that
food,
a
I work.
generic answer, or was that I'm not going to tell you?
Yeah. 18.
Okay.
Unfortunately, only
16 total.
Seems well.
Dr. Lin remains the king of sense motives.
24.
Yeah, anyone under 20 has absolutely no clue. It's just
Get
ro-
dumpstered.
robot blanket answer, and like your character didn't even think to roll a sense motive. Aside from that, Dr. Lin, you don't think it's a fill in the blank, and you don't think he's lying to you. You relate this more because you've seen it once, and at that time you definitely made a connection. You relate this more to Vizco, as he definitely thinks he's a traveler. And he probably did some sort of traveling. But this is a grass is green answer.
Did we find any information on Dole when we were researching? I thought we looked him up.
He was the
Very little
first.
He was the first.
First to transition over.
But what he did prior wasn't.
No.
He was
We
also
didn't have that information.
Yeah,
he
you
helped
didn't really have
Sel
any kind
pressing
of.
the button. We know that as well. He was there on when they built the shield.
Yeah,
Like, he
which
was
yeah.
part
Yeah.
of that.
Okay.
Yep.
He
They didn't really
more
have any
elderly?
information on anybody prior.
Okay.
I think the only information was like medical files and like other file stuff.
Yeah, like the RP, like the
Data
Amranta
birth.
were becoming fatigued. Like our people were becoming fatigued, but it wasn't like Dole was dying. Like
Okay. All right. Well, interesting. Do you travel like for work? Did you work for a particular company? I know somebody mentioned there was a lot of corporations
Heard they abound.
No.
abound.
I worked for myself.
And you just
A self-employed traveler.
I was also a traveling salesperson.
I sold
Just-
vacuum cleaners.
What are you selling?
door to door.
Just kind of looks at you. I was a builder of sorts, whether that be anything electronic or buildings.
Mo, wasn't there when we were looking at the library? Wasn't there like a pretty big company around here? I wonder if they worked for that.
Eisen's anxiety is ever so slightly like mhm.
I'm here watching them to see if they react, but if not, we can keep going. Like, I'm probing.
Yeah,
They have
you're
tons
not
of
get-
facial reactions.
Yeah, you're getting next to zero reactions from them.
Well,
Like the most reaction you get is a like just turns their head to Dole,
right.
but Dole doesn't respond, and then Dole turns their head to Vizco, but like they could just be looking around the room.
Given that this awkward small talk to these very like diminished conversation is just getting worse and worse with the awkward silences, I will just be like, well, that was interesting, let's get to it, and I just turn to the door.
Tra la 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 la.
All right, Vizco will walk in front of you, Jish will walk behind you, and you guys are led through the city for what seems to be about half a mile. Again, ceramics everywhere. What looks like ceramic, I'm just calling it ceramics at this point. This kind of sheen white, curvy metal that these buildings are made out of from the outside.
It's all
After
mithril.
it's all mithril.
That's
After about
harvested
half a
place.
mile, you guys are led into a building in which you watch Vizco basically place her hand on just a flat piece of wall. You watch this keypad be revealed. She stands in front of it to ensure that none of you can see it.
Wasp.
Did you say wasp?
Yeah.
No, I said damn it.
No, I was
Oh,
saying
okay.
wasp. Like, go wasp, go.
Oh,
Yeah, she's very particular about it, and like the fact that like if someone's entering like a computer password near you, they're trying to make sure you're not looking, kind of thing. Like she's glancing back at you on stuff. Enters the code. You watch a piece of the floor kind of shift itself as if there's a hidden elevator there. You watch another keypad pop out on that elevator. She basically motions y'all in, enters another code. If feel free to stop me if none of y'all are gonna. If one of y'all are like, no, we shoot them.
No.
I snap her.
But you guys go down the elevator for about 2 minutes.
I do want to ask a clarifying question, which is simply, are there people around throughout these checkpoints aside from us? There are people like
There are
working
people. Yeah, there are people like walking around, and I will say with Eisen's bodyguard knowledge, even without a check, that Eisen would definitely see that some of them walking around like the building are basically like faux civilians, like they're bodyguards to security to make sure nobody goes in this building.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you don't think any of them would need to be placed here, minus the fact that y'all are here.
Mm-hmm.
Like they seem to have a connection and trust their own people.
Right. Okay. All right.
But besides that, you guys go down this elevator for about 2 minutes. If anybody wants to make me an engineering check, you can.
Oh yes, they will.
Sure.
Don't mind if I do.
20.
15.
No, I'm not trained.
19 plus engineering
Wow,
5,
guys.
so 24.
Natural 2 for 11.
Okay.
You got the roll you needed. The 19 was what you needed before. You're fine.
That's true. Moat and Eisen, you guys not particularly sure exact numbers, but by like the speed that you're going down and like at a random amount of time of about 2 minutes, you get the sense you're probably about 2,000 feet under the ground. But you land on a metal floor, come off the elevator, huge vault looking, like bank vault looking door. You watch as there are 2 keypads, one to the right, one to the left. You watch Visco and Jish both step up, enter a code at the same time, and you hear the vault door kind of release a pressurization, and that's where we'll take a break.
I was waiting for it.
Okay.
I didn't see that one coming.
I
Alright.
thought it was gonna be up top.
All right, well, if we're going to take a break, I also realize I absolutely suck at announcements. So, we're going to take this moment right here, and I might say it again when we get back. I don't know. We make things up on the spot here. It's fine. I don't know if you guys have seen, we have not played Journeys Adrift since we announced this on the Twitters, so I want to have an amazing chance to say this. We're starting a new campaign.
That's true.
And that is,
And guess who's the GM?
it's me, Syrup. I am the GM. And we're gonna have a couple of new faces on as well. So we are going to be playing Strength of Thousands, starting with Book 1 Kindled Magic. We have some amazing faces joining us. So Waffles is going to be a player. We have Star Shinobi, the wonderful, lovely Star Shinobi. Maria, who goes by Happy Capster on the Twitter, as well as Duval. So those are some awesome people that are going to be on the show with us as well. So it starts October 28th. We have a lot of work to do still, but everything is rolling, and we have some. I'm so excited. Everyone is so excited. So we do hope to see you there. It is going to be bi-weekly on Thursdays. We just recommend you check that out. That's exciting stuff. If I think of more announcements, I'll just intersperse them at random times. So you just gotta be ready.
Heck yeah.
Mid combat.
Mid-combat, and brought to you by.
Wait.
Oh, by the way, an announcement. All right. We will go on break now, so please stick around. Refresh your drinks. Yes, you there through the camera. Refresh your drink. Enjoy yourselves. Except for Varso.
No!
No! We'll be right back. We love you guys. My push to talk. Yeah, we're back.
Hey, we're back.
Hello.
Ah!
Oh.
We did it. And we got Carrot screaming.
It is better than the Wilhelm scream. It is the new Wilhelm scream, everybody. No.
I'm just gonna grab the audio bit of Carrot screaming and I'm gonna use it as the Wilhelm scream from now on.
For our podcast, that is going to be the new
Yep.
Wilhelm. I like it.
Whenever an enemy dies. Ah!
Beautiful.
So you don't want me to play this?
Alright. You guys have been brought down to the reactor room through a lot of stuff. Like half a mile into the city, through a lot of turns, kind of hard to know like what building you're exactly in. You went like approximately 2,000 feet into the ground. Watch Vizco and Jish both enter a code at the same time. Big bank vault-like security door depressurizes, begins to open up, and eventually it fully removes itself to the side. And what you see inside is what would look like something very similar to a spaceship engine in terms of the mechanics. Like there's pistons, there's I don't know a lot about mechanics. So there's pistons, there's a turbine, there's rotating parts. I can tell you everything about an aircraft carrier, and that's about it. Plenty of pumps moving fluids through, piping going all around it. The room is immediately hot when you walk in. The thing that strikes anyone that has any engineering skill whatsoever as odd is in the very center of it, there is a encapsulated white case of that same ceramic. And it doesn't look like it was part of the original build.
At this point,
Are there any screaming
Whoa.
souls swirling around it?
I have a lot of questions, but first and foremost, Jish, Visco, what the hell is that? Pointing at the
detect
white ceramic
magic
thing.
at the same time.
You cast detect magic, you don't feel anything.
Not even that. So, Vizco and Jish are all still outlined in that thing, right?
Yes. You feel all the magic you felt up until this point. But you don't feel
nothing in the
anything
room.
new. No.
You never felt magic anywhere else either, so it's got a can't read me thing on it.
It's blocking.
But Jish
Old magic.
looks over to Moat and says, "That is what we had to use as an ability to power the code modifications that I made. Otherwise, there would be no way to properly keep up the force field that we have. It would have went up. It would not have stayed up."
Is it person-sized? This would be coffin, let's say.
It is not. It is actually quite small sized.
Okay.
Think smaller than Grace.
We did not ask what it does. What is it? What is it made of?
It is a material that we found throughout the vast, and it is contained in this encasing, as he kind of points to it. The material is something of an oddity even to us, but we know it has very powerful applications.
This is it, yup. This is what we're looking for. This is the thing.
It
I
is
have a-
somewhere. Sorry, he wasn't done. It is somewhere between a gas and a liquid.
I know
What?
it is.
It is what? What is it, Gary?
Yeah.
Sorry. Or a calco?
Oh, guess. Okay. No, I like those
All right.
guesses. Can he get a hero point
All
if
right.
he's right? Or a chicken nugget if it's right?
For sure.
All right.
Anyone that makes like a wild out guess like that, you'll never know if you're right until we find it, but you'll remind me and you'll get a hero point.
Mm.
Break it open.
A chicken egg. But he continues basically saying the same thing. Like it powers it. It's a material that they found in the vast. It was harnessed for its power. It's the one thing that it gives you is it seems to be a material that can, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't run out when used to power something. Like it's not a finite material.
So this small amount that you found is perpetual? Is this what's been powering this whole thing? Does it need anything to feed off of it to continue to power it? If this item itself is not finite, does it use something else?
It has the ability to harness magical energy, but as he watched you cast a spell, you can see we do not use any.
And you mentioned this is a weird mix between a solid and a liquid, or a gas and a liquid. Does this container the only thing that can keep it there? If it were to be released, if it were to be outside of that container, how does it need to be handled?
Outside of this container, it will dissipate into the atmosphere around. It will become part of the atmosphere, and such a finite amount will be lost nearly immediately from what we have seen.
And how did you then get it?
And you see that he's very scientifically just wanting to answer these questions. You don't, without a sense of motive roll, you don't think he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
We had the pleasure to come upon a solid mass of it. It is not something much seen in the vast. And at this point, anybody can give me a physical science check if you wish.
I would love to.
I would love to.
I'm not trained in it, but because of my background with weird materials, can I roll?
Yeah, you can give me a physical
31.
Holy heck, Dr. Lin.
Oh,
An
the scientist
untrained
rolled well.
9.
14.
Hey, you guys almost reached half of my roll.
So I rolled a 19, but my physical
right.
science is, because I have no ranks in it and it's not a class skill, is just 1, so 20 total.
Okay. Well, you got more than half of Dr. Lin, so you're clearly smarter than he is.
Oh man, he just beat half of my roll. Oh, I am ashamed.
You should be. Eisen's a rock person. No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Lin and everyone else, you have never heard of anything like this.
What?
Wow.
Okay. The way you continue to talk about it sounds like you have quite a lot of experience with this very strange sounding material. What's it called?
The GM looks surprised to be asked that question.
As he
Black magic
Is
stuff.
Karaka Chicky Nuggy?
I wasn't ready for the question. He gives you, I'll come up with it later. He gives you an arbitrary name that that you know that they have named it.
I see.
He's like, it's called Omrock.
Sure.
They named this thing.
It's called Dolium.
That's the name. Sorry, Waffles.
All right.
In honor of the first to be transformed.
100% Dolium, and Varso, you have half a hero point.
Let's go.
Remember that, because if you get another half, you can have a whole one.
I'm putting it on my sheet.
Not a good enough joke for a whole hero point, but
man.
it's also named after it now, so it's Dolium. That's what he says. Well, it's Dolium.
It's like
Everyone
making a
exchanges looks.
Do you have any idea where you came across the solid mass of it? If it's,
I don't understand it.
how is it kept in a solid mass?
And now it's
this
not.
was a liquid gaseous version. How is that? What's different about the way it's kept here versus the environment where it was solid?
What we have found out is that when this product is released into nearly any atmosphere that is not base itself, it becomes a gaseous liquid. Upon becoming that, unless it is a very, very large amount, in which we do not believe exist, it dissipates and becomes part of that atmosphere.
I wonder
Waffles?
if it eats and eats and eats that atmosphere until there's nothing left.
Or
Yeah,
the
because there's
opposite?
not an atmosphere, right?
No.
So Tetsu will point out and go, there is no atmosphere here, so we could open it, yes?
You see him like think about it. This is still not space.
Yes, I'm sure
Is-
there's
is-
still organic material here.
Is the containment unit a completely solid encasement, or is there like a window that can be used to view what's inside?
It's a full solid encasement. It basically looks like a ceramic pokeball.
Are there wires running through it or something? Like, how
a
is it
premier
connected
ball.
Like
to
a
power?
tube on the bottom.
Yeah, there's what looks like a ridiculous conglomerate of tubing that goes around it, but none of them seem to go into it. And what you imagine is that through some sort of conduction or convection like method, it is transferring energy to the tubing just being in contact with the sphere.
I'm
Like an
going
air conditioner.
to take the handkerchief out. Are we in 0G or are we? No.
Nope.
Okay. Want to look at it, and I want to extend it like as close, like being careful of myself, but as close. Should I mage hand it?
Your
I-
arm disintegrates.
Yeah, you just
Oh,
lose
yeah,
some
that's
fingers.
I
Keylithis.
actually, I suppose I paused and I turned back to Jish. Was there any issue with being near it when you were in decaying bodies? Flesh, thank you.
Not within suits and not once within this encasement, no.
I see. And she'll take the handkerchief and she'll kind of just like, like not to interfere with anything, but like whether like that's like place it over a tubing or something that's near it to see. Just have some just organic material as close as possible to it, to see what it does in the time frame. Even if not immediate, like while we're in this room basically and working, it'll be my little test.
Okay. You place it on it. It sits there. Doesn't catch on fire. Doesn't disintegrate. It's just sitting there.
I'll just kind of
Jish,
nod
can-
towards Dr. Lin to like let him know that's what I'm doing.
Then nods his bell.
Jish, can you show us where you inputted the code to edit the forge? He says, like, looking around the space, like, not fully understanding if this is basically the center of the forge, right? We're not like underneath it or something, as far as I
Yeah,
can tell.
this seems to be what they call the Ghost Forge.
Okay, all right.
And he says, "Sure, I can. That would be right over here." And he walks to what looks to be just this odd-looking blank wall. Like there's no real reason for it to be a blank wall. And you watch as he puts his right hand up to it, and you see a screen, like a holographic screen, appear on top of the blank wall that looks like a computer screen, has a keyboard, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Think like a Tony Stark-esque, like.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever seen any kind of technology like this in anywhere in the Pact Worlds or Vast, or is this just completely them?
It's not common. It's like it's definitely like higher end technology, but it exists for sure. It's like corporation type technology usually.
Gotcha.
It's like
Or
welcome to
very
Google,
rich
and it's, like,
individuals.
the fancy stuff.
Basically, yeah.
All right. So is first we want to take a look. Should I cast comprehend languages now and do some reading?
Like you said, our goal is to figure out if we can open some sort of portal or flicker some sort of access first. And if that fails, then we have to decide how we broach the bigger topics.
Yes.
So,
Moat, do you want to join me with this and see what we can...
Oh, most definitely.
All right.
I'm curious if we might be able to like pulse the barrier and give it like a few seconds of downtime within program time limits, and we know like, okay, we can bring it down for 20 seconds in hour increments, so that way we can have someone exit and then come back, and that wouldn't be much of an interruption. That might be
That
that's
would
like
be
my
a good in
initial
between.
plan.
Yes. Okay. And then perhaps I'd be very curious to see if any. She kind of glances at Jish and Visco, if our theory is true regarding others. Anyways, let's go. And she just kind of like just focuses for a second, and her headband lights up and like one side and back, and her eyes start glowing.
While they're doing that, can I make a perception check for like the mechanical stuff to see if there's like anything that's odd that maybe we can manipulate along with whatever computer stuff they find?
You can make an engineering check.
The other part I'm
Okay.
curious about, if anybody, Eisen, you're kind of in the your culture has a form of this, is not the same thing, but outside of the little cube that we're dealing with, like this is the natural created ghost forge. This isn't a man-made ghost forge. So where is that in this? You know what I mean? And trying to identify that might be useful as well.
It's the whole space itself. Like this room is the ghost forge.
Yeah, I will tell y'all, just so we don't get super confused by wording. They said that it had always existed as long as they knew. If that led you, if they ever said the word natural or that led you to believe natural, that was fine up until this point. This is clearly a man-made object.
Yeah.
Like the
But for them,
piping
it's
and
old.
everything else. Yeah, for them, it's like it's always been a part of us. It's a totem to our deity kind of thing. Like literally, it's always been a part of their culture.
Got it. Interesting.
More
So
like a
this-
relic to them than
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like finding an
Engineering
old
is
iPhone.
23.
It's like my
a Nokia.
Well, it's kind of like
Praise
Stonehenge,
be.
right? Like it's basically
okay.
Stonehenge.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
in
that
terms
it.
of,
Yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, is there aspects of this then that are older and all that good stuff? The Game Boy.
Oh, the Game Boy Advance. That's exactly what it is right there.
All right, perfect. Okay, so
You were saying something before we interrupted. Is there aspects of this that something?
Basically identifying the original, like Tetsu's going through and looking at the mechanics to see like what else they added and like what they're doing to manipulate here, but like how did it originally operate, what exactly is this, and just what we can learn about the Ghost Forge in its original intent is also just useful info, especially because we're gonna look at one that was man-made, like not recreated. I have to stop using that word.
I also want to check out the energy source if I can. Like, figure out, like, is it, like, hampering the system? Is it, like, seem like everything is running smoothly? Like, an engineering check in terms of, like, what this energy source is doing and how well it is maintaining the system itself. I guess
Okay.
that's kind of with Tetsu, if that's a help action. I don't know.
Sure.
And-
Tetsu. Sorry, I'm gonna lose what we're doing real quick. I'll do Tetsu and Aizen, and then I'm gonna jump to Dr. Lin, and then we'll do Moat and Zeha. So Tetsu and Aizen, tell me what you want to do, and then make the rules.
So if Eisen's helping, but right now I've got a 24 in engineering, but it was basically to check to see, they edited things to function a different way. Like, what could we interact with that might disrupt what they did, whether it's temporary or permanent? Tetsu wants to know how to kind of break or disrupt the barrier in some way by physically doing something, whereas they're looking at the programming. He's trying to see if there's another end that we can play with.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And if Eisen helps, we'll see if it's a 26.
Yeah, you want to help Aizen?
I do. I'm helping from, like, the energy source, like, angle of it, like what is the energy doing? How has that been modified? Like,
Okay.
is that affecting things? Yeah.
Give me an engineering.
4 plus my engineering, I believe, of 6. So I believe
Eisen,
I
you and
owe
I-
5. Damn. So I got 9. I didn't help. I
9.
was just under.
Yeah. Yeah, being encased and everything, the energy source doesn't really play enough towards you. What's up, Tetsu?
I'm wondering if I want to burn a chicky nogi for that. I
No,
don't.
not a
Yeah.
+2. It's fine. Not a plus.
All right. Yeah. But a 25 could mean a lot.
It could mean a lot, but Tetsu, you're looking at it. Honestly, rather simple. I mean, engineering. You could completely bend all of the intake pipes. You could shove a piece of metal into the turbine. There are plenty of ways you can break it to break it. Now, you can't really find any mechanical ways to stop it and allow it to start again. But you have, like, no joke, plenty of ways, like whether it's a gun, a handkerchief, like there's plenty of things you can do to break this thing.
Plan Z is ready.
You mean
Dr.
Plan
Lin.
A? I was just gonna ask to help out Moat and Zeha with like checking out the computer part because most of my skills are not too applicable to studying this machine.
Okay.
Why don't
Well,
you
then-
medicine it, Mr. Doctor?
Treat it.
I
after
had
Tetsu
the
breaks it.
temperature.
I cannot find a heartbeat. I pronounce the Ghost Forge dead. I'm sorry, everyone.
The ghost
I
didn't give
pronounce it
away?
a ghost.
Okay, what would you like from us? Computer checks?
What exactly are you doing again? Just to remind me.
Yeah, so I turned on comprehend languages, and I am focusing on that to read the code as well as knowing coding and all of that good stuff. Moat is in here as well. Now, Dr. Len, are we all sort of perhaps identifying what this additional programming is actually doing? Or... I wonder if we all want to make something separate. Like, I think maybe I want to look at how the heck this code has anything to do with this material that seems to be powering it. You know what I mean? Like the code manipulation and anything to do with that. There's a lot to look at in the code. What do you all think?
I want to try to understand basically how the code is structured more so. Like, I'd like to understand if there's a concept of, say, like data structures within this code that it's using. I want to know like where it might be able to, or where it might be interjecting. If there's any level of base code for the Ghost Forge that is referenced here, I want to understand like where that comes from. I want to know where, as he goes through what he did, where he made edits, I'd like to attempt to discern how I might be able to utilize that and manipulate that to update it to do the things that I was talking about. Like,
Yeah.
my intention, like I mentioned to Zeha, was the potential
Interval disruptions or something like that.
the interval. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what I'll join you with those intents in terms of reading the code, and I'm particularly focused on the edits that were made to the code and how it is pulling the source and its purpose. So is, you know what I mean? Because we know that there's this ulterior thing that is happening with the wall. Is that in the code?
If you want, you could potentially look into the specifics for how the code interacts with its new power source.
Sure.
And I'm looking for the ways that it interacts with the Ghost Forge in its original capacity.
Sure.
Potentially.
Sure. Let's do that.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh, and I want to try and figure out like what the original code was that like, and like what it says about like recycling souls, or exactly what's like happening there, and see if we can learn anything more about that process.
Perhaps how that's disrupted.
I would
by
also
the new
like to
code.
have Wasp out and recording video of the process of going through the code, like as he's speaking with us, I'm very curious to see if something similar happens with this that happened with Grace, where I was trying to record what happened
Yeah.
as
And
I
it- and
recorded
it
the screen of what
changed.
Grace was showing us, and it went away. It was just gone.
Yeah.
I want to see if something similar happens with that. So,
As the little computer nerds
I'll
have their little
record.
powwow, I will ask Dr. Len. It's like, okay, what are we doing as we get into this? Dr. Len, if you're looking at the original Ghost Forge data code, can you be very mindful of finding out just general patterns, so that should we, and I'm lowering my voice so that it's just kind of us chatting around this little computer, so that perhaps if we have a chance to compare it to the other one that we found, you can identify differences.
That is not a bad idea. Keep an eye out,
All right.
metaphorically speaking.
Feelers out, sensors out, whatever, blind sense, whatever you got. All right, let's get some freaking computer rolls going.
Whoever wants to go first, one at a time, though.
All right, let me know if comprehend languages helps here. Actually, I'm sure it does do something. Don't know. Okay. Bada.
I'm pretty sure it allows you to read computer code.
34.
Okay.
I mean,
34 marked down for Zeha, Moat, or Dr. Len.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, okay.
30.
Ooh,
Oh,
power
goodness.
team.
30
power
for
team.
Mo.
Needs to fill.
natural 20 for Moat.
25. Okay.
I know.
That's a
what
natural 18,
happened to
natural
you.
18, natural 15 from the team.
Good rolls.
I like this.
Okay, Dr. Lin, with your 25, you're trying to understand how the old code worked. It definitely seems to be a magical type of code, which is a little out of your realm, for sure. The best you can tell with a 25 is that the old code had a spell attached to it that allowed souls that were attached to this Ghost Forge, however they were attached, you have no clue, but that allowed souls that were attached to be grasped from, as long as they were on this plane, they were grasped, and then they were reinstated into a new body, never their old body. So mechanically, the Dr. Lin probably doesn't know this, but mechanically, just so I'm explaining it correctly, it is something along the lines of, what's that spell? My brain's like reinvigorate, but it's definitely
Reincarnation?
not
Reincarnation.
There you go. Something along the lines of reincarnation.
So this makes them a new body, or they have to have a corpse sitting around?
It seemed like it magically made a new body.
Interesting.
And do I say anything about like the prototype we found? If this appears similar to those schematics?
I mean, the engineering itself does, but the prototype didn't have any code on it, so you
This
have
is-
no clue.
Okay.
This is more getting knowledge to keep in mind for when we are able to look into that. But
Yeah.
Waffles, you specifically said the old code used to have a spell. Are you saying that he's not seeing that anymore?
He doesn't see the same spell anymore. It's definitely gone.
Okay.
They broke their own cycle.
Which makes sense to y'all. They're no longer being placed into new bodies. That doesn't mean there's not a spell.
Right.
He just can notice a difference in the code, and he doesn't know a lot about magic. So this is just what Dr. Lin does.
Yep.
Mo and Zaya, I'm gonna kind of go across both of you the same. Yeah, we'll go over questions in a second. Mo, with the 30 engineering and how the new code and how it works. What exactly did you want? The new code and how it works, like with the because she wants the power source.
Yeah, she wanted the power source. I want how the new code interacted with the
Wall.
Ghost Forge. So if there was like a new spell that came into play with this Ghost Forge, I think my investigation might lead me to look towards that.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to know how it modified what the original purpose of the Ghost Forge was.
Okay. You getting a lot of the same information that Lynn did. You figure out that it used to have a semblance of some sort of magical thing that was interrupted when the new code was made. You know that it now has a different magical thing that works, and it seems to work how they intended the code to make it work. Trying to speak in the vaguest terms because I know you can make me mysticism if you want, if you're trained in it, but I don't think a lot of y'all are.
I'm not. I am not trained in mysticism.
Yep. So like there's magic here, like what magical code is, but it's not something you read or anything. That said, you with your high engineering role, you know a lot about the code itself, and you're able to like kind of read how the code is supposed to be working. What's up?
That should have been a computer's check. It's the same number, but it should have been a computer's check. So I rolled engineering.
That's all good. But yeah, with the a lot about how this code should be working, and it does seem that whatever magic is in here is definitely designed to run off this power source, run off the Ghost Forge, and still grab the souls and place them back into original bodies, which like bodies they're tied to now instead of new bodies. Which to you is saying like, if Vizco dies, Vizco's going back in Vizco's body.
Interesting.
What if there is no body?
So more of a revivify.
That's an oddity for sure. What if there is no body? Because you don't think it would work.
So that's how they newly modified the code?
Yes.
And there's nothing about the wall in the modifications? This thing that's powering the wall?
That might be under yours.
Yeah, not the Motsies.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do I get any sense of? Well, no, I wouldn't probably get a sense of like noticing whether there was a difference between organic body and robot body. That might be part of the mysticism part that I'm not really aware of, but
no,
I can't pinpoint that.
Yeah, the code is basically labeled as like entity, and like you don't know what that means really. That's it. Zeha.
Yeah.
34 computers check how the new code interacts with its power source. It seems that you get all the information they did, obviously. You know a little bit about magic, so you can kind of identify these as reincarnation-like, revivify-like. It doesn't really... You can't pinpoint the exact spell or power of the spell or how it's exactly designed to work through a computer code, etc., etc. But what you do see is that this code basically siphons some of the energy. I'm trying to use the right word. It doesn't siphon the soul itself, but it siphons some of the energy from the body and the spell that is reincarnating them, revivifying them, and uses that to power the wall. Now, there's two things that strike you out on this. One, if it's siphoning energy from a spell that needs to like revive someone, that's probably where their memories are going.
Right.
It's not like siphoning their soul itself, but the spell's not complete.
Yep. Something had to be sacrificed for it to do that.
Yep. Two, the real thing that doesn't make any sense to you whatsoever is that with this power source and how they're explaining it, they should have been able to do that once and be done. How this code is set up is to continuously do that no matter what, even if somebody has been through it. and it's set up like that very purposely as you're reading it. Like you're able to comprehend languages, you're able to read this code as a story, and it basically says, if somebody dies within this wall, revive them in the same body. And then, hold on, let me stop. I messed up a little. So if somebody dies within the same wall, revive them in the same body. Next line of code basically says, if somebody lives for 5 years, they die.
I get it.
Oh.
I get it. So the cycle
Just
time is
killing
5
them.
years. That's what it says. 5 years.
Basically, yeah.
40.
I have
So, wow. Okay.
I have a question. Seeing as I imagine we're kind of like, this takes a while, and like some of the conversations happening. The question I have is, are you able to count how many cycles they've gone through?
40 years.
But I mean,
17 cycles.
can you confirm that it's 40 years? Like, can you
Oh.
confirm it's 8
Can I
cycles?
confirm?
Oh.
Probably I can see it. Like I could ping how many
It's
times
got a kill
the
count to
code
it.
for 5 years has been ran, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, the kill command. How often does
Yeah.
the mass kill command?
I'll say with your computer's check, you can definitely find it out. It seems like this has been going on for about 200 years.
Oh!
Oh,
Yes!
Ha!
Holy.
I knew it
crap.
couldn't have been 40 damn years.
Oh fuck!
And upon that,
No.
no, not yet. Even worse.
Shut your fucking...
It's Volga.
Upon that, you guys are still gonna have a chance to ask a couple of questions, but I need the two people that completely understood the code to make me a will save.
Ha ha ha!
Let's go.
Time
I'm
to get extra
stupid.
sketch. Let's go.
What?
We're about to
So
have
let's
a
go.
brand new
Let's
Moat
18.
Zeha.
Is that Moat and Zeha or?
That is Moten Sound.
I don't want to click
I'm
this. I
awesome.
am scared of clicking this.
Click it.
Moat,
You
that's
guys do
not
not
bad.
have
Oh,
my will
let's
save. Oh, Jesus.
go.
Fuck.
Moat definitely doesn't. Moat had a +1.
Ooh, Moat.
I'm
That's
terrified.
your
I'm
character.
terrified of what is happening right now.
robotic. It'll be very robotic.
It's Robo.
You're downloaded into Wasp.
What is happening?
I'm better.
Both of you lose 14 of your max HP. Are
They're
fatigued,
dead.
and that's it.
Does Moat just
Okay.
collapse?
I have more than 14
His
HP.
ankles
Yeah,
snap.
you guys are level 4. He definitely has more than 14, or they definitely have more than 14
not
HP.
much.
What, like?
Okay, I mean, yeah, it's more
41?
than half technically,
Oh wow.
but you know, I
How
have
much- what's your
26.
total
I
hit
have
points?
30.
You have 26?
Yeah,
You
I have
did?
25.
yeah,
Yeah, we're
So you're
fine.
at 11?
Yes.
yeah. The most frail of us are now at less than half our original max health.
Well, should I reveal some stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll reveal some
absolutely.
stuff. DC was pretty low, DC 13, but if you
That
failed,
was...
mode only has a +1, so yeah, if you failed, it would have been double that, which I'm pretty sure would have killed both of you.
It would have.
No,
Yep.
you said
Yep.
14 health. It would have left Moat
Yeah.
just alive at 1.
no,
that was
I
with
had
them
26 total.
Oh, no, yeah.
That was the half.
If we had
would've
failed
gotten
that, we would have
smoked.
died. Oh. Fuck.
So, very interesting point. They thought it's been 40 years. It's been 40 cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They count those as their years.
Well, maybe.
They
might not be.
It's what it
Where-
seems to be.
Yeah. Or, yeah, that'd be a big coincidence.
Can I just say, like, 20 kudos to Tetsu for asking the question? Like,
Yeah, totally.
honestly. Okay.
I was like, this is 40 years is way too short.
Okay, so this has been going on for 200 years, which, if we place that in our timeline, does that make way more sense regarding the swarm?
No, honestly, which is the weird part for you, because the swarm started. I have the timeline, but I'm just gonna throw a roundabout. Don't kill me. Don't email in.
You said 291 AG originally.
Yeah, it's like 50 years ago, 45 years ago. Like the swarm only started that long ago.
That we know about. Like,
There
but we
could
didn't
be
really
another
know of
cycle.
this
like
place.
in the pact, not even in the pact worlds proper, but like in the universe, like the Beskarium's out in the vast, and that's when they reported the swarm, which is where this is as well. At least what you understand where Amranta is.
So there's something else that doesn't fit here. Why, if this has been going on for 200 years, would the swarm be a concern for them?
Maybe
Perhaps-
their
Yeah, where'd that come
corporations
from?
made it. Like maybe they made just like kind of like Dr. Lend something into like a doom weapon.
Depends on how far they are in the vast too.
I'll pop in here because you had like high enough computer rolls and stuff, and you almost died.
Kitty info.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
Imagine if we TPK'd this way. It'd been great.
It's mostly
We're
the
all reading
computer
it.
rolls. You definitely like being able to read the code Zeha and stuff. You see parts of the code that have been added since. And even I'll say, what did you get a 34? Yeah. Okay. I'll say a 34. Even more so, it doesn't look to be manually added like the rest of the code. It looks to have developed.
Evolved.
Maybe not the code itself has evolved. What you're seeing looks to be like it is connected to the world in some way or form. Like it has ability to know the news and upload and that kind of stuff.
It knows that the code is up to date with the world.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
So-
what's outside this bubble is like has sensors and is reading like what's going on about it. So maybe
Perhaps-
it just sensed the swarm and made up the story.
Perhaps another.
Yeah,
Another.
it planted the memories into them
Yeah.
to be like, oh, this is why we're afraid, and it's keeping them
Yeah.
hostage because it needs something to
It's
fuel it.
keeping them there.
So this thing's like
Oh.
sentient. I knew
And
the Ghost
that's
Forge
why-
was
Oh,
sentient.
and that's why
And that's why it
attacked you.
wanted to kill us for knowing what it's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I step
We-
away. From
Well, I think that's just how it works.
Yeah, I imagine Moat and Zeha are rocked right now. Like that's
Like,
max HP. It's like you just went through 14 days of COVID in a minute. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
I assume
Adrenaline
there's like a
1%.
physical response on their end, and
I
I'd
so
like
Tetsu's
fall on my
shield.
ass.
Yeah, collapsing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Len's like
Moat
trying to
is
tend to them.
Moat is clutching the rib that got shattered from that nasty hit from the Dusk Manta because
Like all.
having trouble breathing.
Yeah, all four of my arms are like clutching at my chest, like, like holy crap.
Yeah, there's just a, and I'm just like at the doorway.
How?
Yeah, it's,
You see-
yeah, both of us
you
are.
see-
It's just,
you see Jish and Visco both respond as if like you're in trouble. Like they take steps forward, don't know what to do. They don't put hands on you, but like they
I
have
block
an
'em.
immediate response.
Yeah, I don't let him near.
At
Yeah,
this
no,
point, I'm
between
just.
the-
I look over at Moat, my eyes like wild, and I'm just like, this is not good. That's all.
There's a emoji of like the brain blast thing, just a skull with like the explosion at the top. Oh my god!
Oh,
Wow.
What is going on? Jish kind of says.
I don't
Te-
even know where to
Tetsu glanced-
begin.
Are we in trouble?
Len's like treating them for shock.
I
Don't pay
Yeah,
attention to
don't-
them.
tab.
You see Jish kind of pause for a second and then looks at Visco. Visco seems to stare for 5-6 seconds.
No Wi-Fi communicating without speaking.
The wall is still up. I don't imagine there's anything wrong.
No, the wall wants to stay up, doesn't it?
Very much so.
What?
What do you mean?
You.
Do you want to try to put this in the words, or do you want me to just come out with it?
No, go for it. They're not gonna like hearing it though, and they probably won't believe it.
Okay. As delicately as I can put it, the wall's keeping you here. You've been recycling yourselves for 200 years, and the Ghost Forge knows what's going on in the outside world, and it's probably been implanting memories about stuff like the swarm so that you stay here in fear.
Whatever this thing is that is... And she kind of just looks at the box that you have added to the Ghost Forge is using it. It's using it. I don't
It's
know.
the energy source. It's not the forge itself, it's the thing in the box.
The forge was there for centuries. I think this is manipulated. There was code, right, Dr. Lin? You said there used to be a spell that reincarnated you and gave you new bodies, and it's gone. That spell is gone, and there's a new one.
Whatever this material is, you said it has an effect on magic. It interacts with magic somehow. It's not out of the discussion to think it may have destroyed the spell.
It kills you every 5 years to get more power. I bet it's running out. I bet it's running out of fuel.
And we got floored because we understood. And I'm pretty sure it just lashed out. So I'm not really feeling very comfortable here. But talk to Dole, something.
We need
You've got to get out of here.
Everybody give me a perception check.
I said I was on high alert. Can I get some sort of modifier here?
22.
Yeah, you can have a +2. You and Tetsu. Nope. Tetsu rushed to block the robots.
Yeah.
Aizen, you can have
25.
I very much like my 6 because
It's
I
my
am
best
on my
skill.
ass and
Why yell?
absolutely not fucking paying attention.
Clearly this rattled
Yeah.
me because I got 6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay.
You only have a +3?
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
My wisdom is -1.
Dr. Lin got a
In the good
22. What'd you get, Tetsu? You got a 25?
25.
Who are we missing here? Aizen said you got a 9. Okay.
Nine.
Dr. Lin and Tetsu, not quick enough to see the first pull, but very quick to hear the clink, clink, and watch the second pull as I already forgot his name.
Dole?
Jish.
Dole.
Sorry,
Jish.
their name. As Jish drops the grenade on the ground and begins to pull another one, and that's where we'll end the session.
Can we at least roll initiative?
I'm gonna die.
We'll roll initiative. next
Waffles, let's go
session.
long. I want to fight something.
But guess what? You can roll your level 5 initiative.
Yes!
Oh
Oh my god. Oh, this is the hypest fucking session ever.